Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of The Airdrop, and today we're talking about iOS 15, or actually the first developer beta that has been released. I've been using it for a day, and this year, I made sure that the iPhone that I used to test the beta is my main iPhone. And things are gonna get heated. Okay, so thank you for dropping in. This is the airdrop, obviously about iOS 15. This is some spicy stuff, man. I have never seen a developer beta that is as stable as this beta. I'm actually in love. This beta is love. iOS 15 is love. iOS 15 is life. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not overreacting at all. This is completely going to change my life. Let's start with the first thing. The first thing we have to talk about is FaceTime. FaceTime is completely going to change my life. I personally didn't FaceTime a lot in like a private setting. In the office though, we did a lot of FaceTime. You might remember that a couple of videos ago I actually explained that I have another company which is a recruitment company. So we call a lot and we do a lot of interviews with candidates, and now that we can't have a lot of face-to-face time, that's trademarked by the way, Greg. Don't touch that. Face-to-face time. It's mine. And now that we don't have a lot of face-to-face time, now we use Microsoft Teams and Google Meets. Now the problem is that Microsoft Teams, for example, the web browser functions are disgusting. They don't work at all. Google Meets is a slightly bit better, but FaceTime, with all its privacy features, with all its ecosystem features, is just going to change my life. And I tested it mostly on the iPad, in interest of full disclosure, but I did test it on the iPhone as well, and for me the experience is just a complete overhaul. I can now share stuff. I can now talk to candidates with an Android phone. I can do so many things. I can plan an actual FaceTime call. It is completely different for the amount of experimenting that I can do in one day. It's absolutely perfect, and that's why I'm saying this beta is so stable. It's so... I'm gonna change my pants for a little bit. Okay, so we are back. Then we got iMessage, and although the app itself, iMessage, is probably not going to change a lot about my life, I feel like its deeper connection and integration within this ecosystem is going to change my life. Look, I am one of those friends who receives a lot of content and usually forgets about it. Like, I'm in this chat with Kevin. Maybe you remember Kevin from the podcast that we did a few months ago. We share a boatload of trailers with each other, like movie trailers, links, articles and stuff, and we usually forget about them. Like, he does it with me as well. But this time I actually woke up and I went to Safari on my Mac, and I actually saw these little towels, and it reminded me that I actually had to look at these trailers, that I actually had to look at these articles. Now, you always had something like that with serious suggestions, but it is not the same, especially with this redesigned Safari, which is completely awesome, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. So iMessage, and then you have obviously the photo sharing and like the collage, and you can swipe through a bunch of photos, which is fine and it's good. I don't know if it's going to change a lot about how I do things. It's just like this deeper integration with the entire system, like that Apple is most powerful in, right? Like the entire ecosystem is now connected overall, and that is the theme of this entire event. It's like everything is now deeper connected. And if you remember a video that I made with like some predictions in software, this was exactly what I was waiting for. Something that is going to overhaul the entire system for every single platform that they have, and behind the scenes just connect everything together slowly but surely. And this is a insane first step. I love it. I absolutely love it. And it's going to change so many things. So FaceTime is going to change my life in terms of how easy it's going to be for me to finally get rid of all these apps that sometimes work in the web browser and the other one doesn't, and the other one doesn't work on the iPhone, and the other one doesn't work on Android. This is just going to be the standard, and it's going to work fine. And iMessage is going to do the exact same thing, with finally keeping track on all the amount of content that I have to go through, that friends and family share with me, and probably the other way around. And then obviously you have this amazing, absolutely amazing overhaul of Safari. The first thing I saw was the UI, right? You have the browser functions and everything, like the URL, the address, everything at the bottom. And my first reaction, I remember that clearly, was like, I'm not sure about that. But then I started using it, and it's absolutely amazing. I'm not gonna lie, I never knew that I wanted this, and I should have known. I just should have known. I'm actually blaming myself for not knowing that I wanted this, and now I have it, and now I want it even more. It is absolutely perfect. It works. It reimagines the way that I categorize things in my browser. I will probably make a video about how my workflow goes so I can show you a bunch of things. Now it's just ranting on about how amazing this is because it's the first impression, right? But it is absolutely amazing. Other things that are probably less effective for my life, for my lifestyle, Apple Maps, like the update, which is amazing for people that live in certain states in the United States. I live in the EU, in the Netherlands, so I don't care. But it looks nice. Maybe if I'm on holiday in San Francisco, I will use it. But for now, I don't know. It doesn't really benefit me. I already used Apple Maps and I'm going to continue to use Apple Maps. That's fine. Obviously, you now have the more system-wide spatial audio features, which also work in FaceTime. And I've tested that in FaceTime. And it was more tracking the iPad and then making the sound come from there while I was using AirPods. And that is absolutely amazing. Although I feel like it was more simulating that the sound was coming from the iPad and not necessarily her. Because when she was moving around, nothing really changed. So maybe I have to use actual group calls to get that effect. It actually simulates spatial audio a lot as well. Like some content that is not like spatial audio enabled. I don't know how it's not Dolby Atmos or whatever. It still tries to make it feel like it's spatial audio. It's like, feels like you're still in the room and it's still coming from, for example, the device that you are using. So the iPad is still the source of that audio. And it feels absolutely amazing. Now, obviously, we're talking about iOS, but some features also trickled over to the iPad. So I tested both. It's kind of like mixed in that opinion about iOS, but it works on both platforms. That's what I'm trying to say. It just makes the whole lineup feel like it's one big family again. And then you have the new focus features that are things that I'm probably going to use, but for now I did only use Do Not Disturb. And I'm going to explore that a bit more before I actually give my opinion on it. But now the first impressions of it is that it's highly customizable and I really enjoy that, but I really have to dig into it more to understand what's actually going on and to see if I'm actually going to implement that in my day-to-day use of the iPhone. The new notification experience does make me feel like I'm actually talking to a person more, like you get these little icons with the photo inside them, for example in iMessage, which is something that just makes it feel like you're actually in a conversation with that person, even when it's just a notification. It feels more fluid, it feels more natural. Overall, the notifications are better. If it is going to change my life, again, I'm not sure. I don't feel like it will, but definitely a good improvement and I'm definitely digging it. Obviously, on top of that, you have privacy reports. That is something you have to toggle on, like manually, at least in this beta. Every 7 days, it's going to give you a report on all the apps. And for every 7 days, there is going to be a report on what certain apps contacted outside of the actual apps. So if it tries to connect to a third-party website or it tries to send data there, you will be able to see it. And then you can decide for yourself if you recognize something or if you actually want to continue to use the app after knowing that they're doing that. I think it's very interesting. Obviously, it hasn't been 7 days yet, so I will give you an update in like a week or so. But all these features, guys, all these features are definitely awesome. This was definitely what I was waiting for a really long time. This is what I needed. I'm so hyped to keep you posted on iOS 15. Obviously, the same for macOS. I'm going to make a video about macOS, and at some point, I have to make a video about iPadOS as well. And we will get into that. But anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for tuning into this airdrop. I hope you guys learned something, and I hope you guys are excited for the next couple of videos that are going to come out. For now, please leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel.